Good morning, everybody. It's Rich and Barrycat broadcasting from Las Vegas, Nevada, United States. How are you? Today, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. We're going to talk about loans and capital. And this, I'm speaking directly to Nigerian entrepreneurs in Nigeria. This one is for you. Because it seems like every day or every other day, I get emails from people in Nigeria, mostly entrepreneurs in Nigeria, some personal, some just strangers, requesting loans from me. And I think part of that is because of the additional traffic that we've been getting on America.com. We've just redesigned the website, and we are seeing a lift in traffic. So we're getting a lot of traffic. We've been getting a lot of traffic for the past 1 week. And as a result, it opens you up, you're having more visibility in front of more Nigerians. And with that also comes with its drawbacks, meaning people are going to reach out to you. There are a lot of people looking for funding and capital solutions for their small to mid-sized businesses in Nigeria. So before I dive into it, I run a platform called Embericat.com. We are a trusted platform for US-Nigeria trade, import, export, and investments. So we cater to two markets. We cater to Nigerians in the diaspora looking to do business back in Nigeria. We also cater to Nigerian-based entrepreneurs looking for market access into the United States. So let's talk about loans. I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago with one of my colleagues who owns a printing shop in Lagos, Nigeria, and just the topic of loans came up. I think it was me just reaching out to her. And I brought up the topic about how I've been getting a lot of, I'm literally telling you, like every day or every other day, it's like 2 to 3 emails of people asking for loans, for business loans. So one thing that you have to remember is this. Obtaining a small business loan anywhere in the world, not just in Nigeria, even here in the United States, is extremely difficult. Not impossible, but extremely difficult. And I think that one of the things that entrepreneurs or business owners don't look at is they don't put themselves in the shoes of the banks. You gotta learn to look at yourself the way a bank or someone giving you a loan is also looking at you. And I'm going to get into an example of a loan that I gave someone later on in the broadcast and how that person defaulted on that loan. So the key thing is looking at your business the way that a bank would look at your business. So if you are, and I'm not saying that going out there and getting bank loans or funding for your capital projects is bad, but you got to look at it from the perspective of the person that's giving you that loan. How are you going to repay that loan? That's one of the things that people don't factor in when they're going out and looking for loans or small business loans. How are you going to repay the borrower? How are you going to repay that loan? Has that ever crossed your mind? Because a banking institution or someone like me, if I'm giving you a loan, I'm going to want a return on my investment. I'm going to tack on, let's say, a 10% interest on that loan that I'm giving you. So here in the United States, the average is anywhere between, depending on your credit, is anywhere between 8% to 12%. I'm talking about business loans and also personal loans. How are you going to repay that loan? You have to be able to factor in. The mistake that a lot of Nigerian entrepreneurs make is they don't see loans the way that banks see the same loan that these people are requesting. So the best way to fund your business, and we've been doing this now for, Ali, I've been in business on and off since 2003, for 22 years. Self-funding. American Ventures, our business is largely self-funded. Sweat equity. What that means is you are financing your business with your profits. Everything that you make, everything that comes into your business gets reinvested back into your business. And you are 100% funding that process. So when you get into the mindset of self-funding your business, it changes the way that you look at money. Before that dollar or that naira goes out, you're going to think twice about where that money is going, how you're going to get it back. And if that money is also going to generate more money. So as far as like capital, you see, most businesses in Nigeria expect, when it comes to like capital funding, they expect the customer to come up with the capital to fund orders. That is usually not the way it goes. In any civilized business environment, okay, any civilized business environment, you got to go through a tiered structure. So let's say, for instance, you are a supplier of goods to a buyer in the United States. The payment terms have to be structured in a way that benefits both parties. So now, I always go, like when I'm dealing with Nigeria, I have a 30, 40, 40 payment structure. Depending on the supplier, depending on the contractor, depending on who I'm working with. If I've had a long relationship with them, it's usually a 30, 40, 40 structure, meaning 30% upfront to secure my order so that they can get working. And then when they meet a certain benchmark, I will then release 40% of the total agreed upon cost. Okay? Once that project or that order is completed and I have proof, I'm able to see photos, see not pictures, I just said photos, see photos and videos, and it's verified and it's confirmed, then I release the other 30%, completing the 100% payment. You can't, as an entrepreneur in Nigeria, start asking for 100% payment up front from a buyer. That is not going to happen. Even if that person has worked with you and you have a good working relationship, it's going to be extremely difficult, if not impossible, for me to fork out 100% up front so you can get me my orders. So sometimes you got to really be careful what you wish for, because the majority of you don't want to start small. You don't want to start where you are. You think that capital is the solution, or you think obtaining a loan is the solution. The solution is time. The more you are better off putting in time into your business than throwing money into your business. The time that you put into your business is going to help you refine your offers. It's going to help you improve your supply chain. Time holds more equity and more value than money. So when you're out there going out and you're looking for a loan, you're reaching out to someone like me, or you're reaching out to local banks in Nigeria, you are almost putting the cart, it's as if you're putting the cart before the horse. Because back to what I was saying earlier, you have to be able to show documentation and paperwork that your business is healthy. You just have to. Nobody's going to take your word at face value. They're not going to take, the banks are not going to, oh yeah, you say you have a good business. Okay, well, show me the documentation. In the United States, you got to be able to show your tax filings for at least the last 3 to 5 years before banks can even look at you. It's going to show your profit and loss statement. It's going to show where you are financially. And it's also going to show the capability or not of you being able to repay the loans. That's how banks look at people before they give them loans. They have to look at your credit history. Have you defaulted? These are things that majority of Nigerian entrepreneurs don't factor in. Of course, the banks want to do business with you, but the banks also have to be able to make money off of you in the form of you repaying the loans on time and not defaulting on these loans. So I'm going to give you an example of what happened to me. This was about 3 years ago. There's a particular individual, that a supplier actually, that I was working with in Nigeria. Hardworking guy, always did everything that I asked for. He always met my needs as far as like my orders. And the more I work with him, I start noticing that, well, maybe someone like this needs a little bit of a push, a little bit of a financial push to get them, let's say, from here to here. But I just kept on waiting and waiting and waiting to see if this person was going to bring up the subject of the possibility of capital, so he can get to that next stage that I know that he can get to. Very hardworking guy, very determined. Very determined. But that didn't equate or did not translate to him being able to manage money.
Sam, Logos, WA Business Audio.
Hey, Sam. Yes. How are you? Oh, I thought you were my manager in New York. Okay, this is Sam in Lagos. Yes, I'm actually on a live right now, on a YouTube live right now. When I finish, I will send you the design for the package. What is the minimum you can do? Because I don't need a lot. Just give me a number now. Just give me a minimum you can do. That's too much. I don't need that many at this point. I just need a few. And it's just going to be just the Embarcad logo on the packaging. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's do this. When I finish with the live, I will give you a call back and then we can talk about it. Okay, thank you. So that is Sam. He's the guy that handles my packaging in Lagos. So back to what I was saying. Um, so eventually he came up, he brought up the topic. Hey, bros, I was thinking about this. I know it's very uncomfortable for me to ask, but I was wondering if you could. I mean, you've seen the way that the guy sold. I mean, and again, he didn't even have to do too much selling. I was just waiting for him to, because me, what I'm looking for drive. So we ended up agreeing. I'm okay. I'm going to help you. I'm going to become your bank. I am going to loan you some money for you to take your business from where it currently is to where I know it can be. So let's just say the amount was under ₦1 million. Okay. But it's still a significant investment, but it's just under ₦1 million. So we came up with an agreement, and I looked at his business. We talked about it. We agreed that he would be able to repay that loan back in, let's say, 3 months. So to make it even sweeter, I told him, okay, what I'm gonna do for you is, I know that we both agree that this loan can be repaid in 3 months, but I'm gonna make it even one better. I'm going to extend it and give you an additional 6 months to repay the loan. So I ended up I gave him an additional 3 months to repay the loan. So all in all, from the moment that I released the funds to him, he had exactly 6 months, 180 days to repay that loan. So I was very excited. I added a 10% interest on the loan because I'm not going to I'm just not going to loan you money for free. So I added 10% interest to the loan. And we agreed. I structured the paperwork, which, by the way, doesn't even mean anything to these people. But I structured the paperwork, sent it over to him. He signed it. I had him also do a recording, a voice recording, that this is the amount he took from me. This is the amount he's expected to pay back every month. And this is the interest rate. And this is the total amount. And I'm telling you, the first couple of months, I would say the first 3 months, he repaid the loan like clockwork. We agreed on a certain date. The money has to be in my account on this day. So for the first 3 months, he repaid the loan like clockwork. It was like in month 4. That was when the problem started. So he defaulted on the 4th month. I reached out to him. Hey, what's going on? He started giving me stories. You know how it goes. Started giving me stories about why he wasn't able to make payments, and he just kept saying, okay, bros, don't worry, you'll get the money this day, you get the money that day. So month 4 turns to month 5. No payment. The deadline passed for the maturity of the loan. He was only able to make 3 payments, and he completely defaulted on the loan and disappeared, vanished. I tried to reach him. And to me, it's like at this point, it wasn't even about the money anymore for me at this point. It was just more about, more of like a betrayal. So he went from not being about the money to them becoming, this is a blatant betrayal of trust. So 6 months goes by, didn't hear anything from him. I just kept on waiting. 8 months goes by. About a year later, I followed up with him because he kept ignoring my text messages, ignoring my phone calls. So I used a local number. I did a 3-way call with someone, and then he answered. And I'm like, it's been a year. What's going on with the money that you owe me, the loan that I gave you? I did it in the best interest, trying to help you out. And then they started giving me an excuse about, oh, like he joined the EFCC. I mean, some of the things that the guy started saying, oh, he joined the EFCC. And I'm like, wait a minute, how does a trader go from trading bulk foods to joining the EFCC? So the excuses got more and more outlandish. So the moment that he said that to me, I basically just wrote off the loan as a loss. Until today, it's been 3 years. I haven't heard from this individual. So that is my personal story when it comes to trying to help someone get ahead in their business. And because of that experience, I don't even entertain anybody asking me anything about loans because of that experience. So you can now imagine what banks, and by the way, the interest rates, at the very minimum, the interest rate in Nigeria right now is like 30 something, 34, 35%. You can never ever pay that back. So self-equity, sweat, not self-equity, sweat equity is where it's at. In order for you, before you even approach a bank about obtaining a loan, you have to be busting at the seams with purchase orders, with sales. You have to be literally, people have to be kicking down your door with business before you can confidently walk into a bank, requesting a loan. Focus on sales. Focus on making your customers happy. Focus on investing more time into your business. Focus on becoming the best in your category. If you are a bulk food supplier, focus on becoming the best in the bulk food supply chain. Because loans are extremely difficult to obtain and also to repay, especially when you're still starting out as a startup, you're still starting out as a small business, still trying to get your footing. Time is more valuable. The time that you invest in your business is more valuable than any amount of money you can throw at it. I mean, you watch like Nigerian media, and then you see all these banks that are talking about, oh, small business, we are giving loans and we're giving this and we're giving that. Do you know the requirements? Do you know the benchmarks that you have to meet to be able to even obtain that kind of a loan? They're going to want to see a lot of things. They're going to want to see that you have an establishment. They're going to want to see that you have an office. If you are into exports, they're going to want to see that you have an export desk. That is why you don't see a lot of traditional banking institutions in Nigeria giving out loans to small businesses. And as far as like working capital, you can't expect the buyer to fund your working capital. Forget about being a trader, even as let's say you are a contractor, you're a building contractor. The person who is hiring you can buy their own materials. That is 100% up to them. They can buy the materials, but as far as like your fee, do the 30, 40, 40 structure. I think any person that's hiring you for any contracting work would take that up. 30% up front, 40% when you meet a certain benchmark, which is 70%, and then the final 30% once the project is completed. So loans, while you may think that obtaining a loan is the solution to your problem, it can actually become, that's if you get the loan, it can actually become the beginning of a larger problem that you didn't even see coming. Because you got to learn how to have like financial discipline. Back to the guy that defaulted on my loan. He was hardworking. He was willing to break his back for you. He had a good product. He had a good service. But he didn't know how to handle money, and he didn't know how to handle loans. And for those who are out there asking for personal loans, and I get this as well. Well, my father passed away. I need money to bury my dad, and I did this and that. You are backing down the wrong tree. No one's going to give you a loan to go and bury your loved ones. If you need a loan to bury your loved one, you are in trouble. And you get this all the time with especially in Nigeria, where people always feel that they have to declare they've landed. They have to throw this elaborate, especially at burials. They have to throw this elaborate party. So what do they do? This or wedding too. They start lobbying for loans. How are you going to repay that? That's a different story altogether that I can cover at another time. Because it happened to me. But let's get back to the business topic of this. This is about business and not really about personal loans for like burials and weddings and things. It's just all about business. Work on your business. Leverage sweat equity. Every money that comes into your business, reinvest it back into your business. Before you now go and start asking for a loan, which can actually ultimately destroy your business. If you can't handle 100K, if you don't have the discipline to handle one common 100,000 naira, what makes you think you have the discipline to handle 1 million? If you don't have the discipline to fulfill a small order for a client or a customer, what makes you think you have the discipline to fulfill a large order? If you don't even have the discipline to be able to communicate at the very basic level with the client overseas, when they are making inquiries about your business at the very, very basic level, what makes you think you have the discipline to be able to communicate at a large scale where a lot of capital is on the line, where a lot of resources are on the line? This is why I wanted to share. Look at things differently. Look at it in the eyes of step into the shoes of the banks. Put yourself there. If you were a bank and someone like me comes and says, okay, I'm looking for a loan for XYZ, how would you look at me? if you had the authority to sign that document, if your job as a managing partner or as a banking official relies on that loan, how would you treat that process? That's what I wanted to share, guys. My name is Rich Mberiket, founder of Mberiket.com. Check out the platform. We are a US Nigeria platform for business, import, export, and investment. I also hold training webinars on connecting both markets. So check out Mberiket.com/webinar. I have a consultation service as well, one-on-one consultation for Nigerians who are looking to import from Nigerians in the US who are looking to import from Nigeria, and Nigerians back home who are looking to export into the United States. Check out that consultation package, mentorship package, Mberiket.com/mentorship, consulting, Mberiket.com/consulting, webinar, Mberiket.com/webinar. We've just recently rolled out our logistics service to make it easy for Nigerians in the United States to import goods from Nigeria, and we offer our service. I have another. Wow, I have a webinar I have to hop on right now. Actually, no, it says it's going to be live in 1 hour. So so I have a little bit of time. You can ship from Nigeria to the United States door to door, stress-free with our platform because we have logistics dialed in. Hey guys, post your questions in the comments. If you have any questions whatsoever, any topic you want me to cover on this live, on Mberiket Live on YouTube, let me know. All right, guys. Talk to you guys later. Take care.